This lesson is created by Jocelyn, Diana, Ashley, and Enna as a part of the Claremont Museum of Art's Project ARTstART program. Enjoy!
Hello, we are Diana and Jocelyn from Project ARTstART. I am Diana, and my partner Jocelyn will come on later in the video. Today we are doing a project called Futures in Flight. But before we begin, what is ARTstART? You might remember us from past years when we visited your classes. But ARTstART is a group of students that learns all about art, how to create and teach art, so that we could teach you all about it.
Hi everyone, this is Jocelyn speaking now. For this project, we'll be looking at the Claremont Museum of Art's exhibition, which is called Inside Out: Emerging from Isolation. The three pictures on the screen show the artwork being displayed in the two main rooms, known as the main gallery and the atrium gallery. The pieces shown here on the slide were all made in March of 2020. Many of the pieces relate to the feelings that the artist had felt during the pandemic. On the next slide, we'll be looking at two pieces in particular and discuss how they relate to our art project for today. The painting on the right is Faulstich's Red-Tailed Hawk. Faulstich focuses his artwork on solitude, or in other words, loneliness. This piece in particular highly demonstrates that. As we dive in deeper into the painting, we notice that there is a hawk flying alone in the sky. This relates to how during these times, it is easy to feel lonely, just like the hawk. However, although the hawk is alone, we notice that it is also free, flying through the sky without any limits. While we may be isolated and alone right now, our futures and ideas are still free as ever, and similar to the hawk, they can fly without any limits. The next piece that we'll be looking at is Hope/Belief by Jane Park Wells. This painting is a part of her series known as the Painting for Hope. This type of art piece is known as a collage, where different images and shapes are layered on top of one another. This painting in particular shows layers of different photos from local newspapers. On top of that, there is a painted section made up of abstract shapes. Abstract means that something has no specific shape or form. Besides the abstract shapes, we notice that there are small origami cranes floating around. Cranes often represent hope, which will be the main topic for our project. Moving along through the project, today we'll be creating our own paper birds, decorated with our hopes and dreams for the future. The materials that you will need are one piece of printer paper in any color that you would like, scissors, glue or tape, magazines, newspapers, or scraps, and lastly, coloring tools such as markers, crayons, or colored pencils.
So this is what your bird may look like at the end. So once again, you're going to need one piece of paper, a ruler or a straight edge. I'm using a flashcard, crayons or any other coloring utensils like markers or colored pencils, glue, and you can also use tape if you don't have glue. A pair of scissors, magazines, newspapers, or any other pieces of scrap paper, and let's not forget a pencil. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our paper and fold it hot dog style. This folded line is going to help us in our next step. So now we're going to drag one of the corners and fold it to the folded line. So if you know how to fold a plain paper airplane, then you know that you have to fold both of the corners inside. With a pencil, I did mark my line just so that it's a little easier for me to see. You don't have to do this, but it did help me know where I should fold my line. I also put my finger there so I don't fold over the line. So after this is what your paper should look like. So now that we have these folds, you could see that there is a straight line. We are going to fold against that straight line. So right from where you folded, those flaps are going to come right down. So I did make this fold a little sharper and cleaner with my finger. you flip it that way, we're just gonna fold the corner a little back up, how you see here. We do want a little bit of space on the top so that it looks like a triangle. After this, you're gonna fold it over. So again, right where we folded, we're just gonna fold it over. And that line that we created earlier, we are now gonna fold against that line. So now you should have something that looks like this. So on this part, we want to make sure we fold this correctly. We want to fold it where you could see our previous folds and not here where we can't see our folds. So we're just gonna fold it where we can see our folds. So now I'm gonna take my straight edge and my pencil, and I'm just gonna put them to the side. So I'm going to now measure with my fingers. So you want to have at least 2 fingers from our straight folded line there. I'm going to use my other hand so that I can write with my dominant hand, the hand that I write with. And we're just going to put a little mark there with our pencil. Now I'm using my straight edge, and where I put that mark, I am aligning the bottom to the bottom of my folded paper, so that I can make a straight line down. So again, you're just making that straight line from where you measured your 2 fingers. So now I'm going to erase my drawn line because it crosses over my folded line. So that's the only part that I'm going to erase. So as you see here, we have another folded line that goes straight up. From that line, you are also going to take 2 fingers and you are going to measure it away once again. You're going to draw a little dot there, and my dot was right next to my other drawn line that I had previously drawn, so I'm just going to move that dot right over. Now the same folded corner that we're going to use, we're just going to drag it right across the paper, and we're going to draw another line there. Now taking my straight edge again, I'm going to take the corner of the paper and the second dot that I drew and connect those 2 with a straight line. I'm using my straight edge, my flashcard. Please use a ruler for this step. Starting from the first point that we drew, we're going to connect that to the last point that we drew. And again, please use a straight edge for this to connect these 2 dots. Remember that you can pause the video whenever you need. So now we're going to take our scissors, and from these lines that we just drew, we are going to cut. We're going to cut through both of our flaps. So starting from our 3rd dot to our 1st dot, we are going to cut along that straight line, and remember not to cut past our folded edge. And again, I am just cutting the lines that we just drew. I'm cutting through both of the flaps, both of our wings. So now you should have something that looks like this, and from our flaps, the bottom is going to be our body, and now you have a bird. If you need extra help with folding a bird, check out this short video. You can scan this QR code and you will be taken straight to this video. Now we are going to decorate our wings. So take out any magazines, newspapers, or scraps, any color utensils you may have, like colored pencils or markers. Remember, we don't want to use paint for this just because paint will be a little bit too heavy for our bird's wings. So I do want to have a collage on my bird's wings. I'm going to go through my magazine and cut out any pictures that fill my hopes and aspirations for the future. So in the future, after COVID, I want to go to the beach and go with my friends. So I'm going to take out pieces that remind me of the beach. So I already have these pieces cut out. I also want to go hiking, so I have a picture of the mountain. Remember that you want to lay your pieces out before you glue them down or tape them down. The reason being that if you glue or tape your cut out pieces first, you may not like the end result. So if you keep moving it around, you might find something that you like better than the first time. As you see here, I'm just cutting my images out. They don't have to be cut perfectly. I do glue them on the back of my note card just so that I don't get any glue on the table. And as you could see here, I'm already gluing down my cutout pieces differently than the way that I arranged them, and that's okay. So now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to cut all the excess. I'm going to do the same thing on my other wing. And once again, cut off all the excess off. Our other option is to color, which is what I'm doing here, to draw on our wings. So now I'm drawing kind of like the ocean and some fishes on the ends of my wings. And this is the end result. Just as a reminder, we will first fold our bird, following the illustration to the right, and then decorating the wings with your hopes. You have the option to A, make a collage in your bird's wings by cutting pieces from magazines and newspapers or scraps about your hopes for the future, or B, using your coloring tools like markers, crayons, or colored pencils and draw your hopes for the future. You can collage and draw on your bird's wings, if that's what you would like. Your final projects should look a little like these, but with your own hopes for the futures. Now there's one last step before today's project ends. We would like you all to draw your birds like a paper airplane. You'll get to see them soar, just like how your future hopes and dreams soar. As a recap, we made a piece of art by sticking a combination of paper from magazines, newspapers, or scraps onto our birds, which is called collaging. Remember that your birds are a representation of hope, and it is very important to keep hope throughout these hard times. Thank you.